Utie Oha Echi Ponkno. Needs FM.
I'm fine, thank you, sir. How are you?
We are also doing well. So, Doc, can you give us your perspective, the outline, performance of the MPP-led government going forward?
Performance?
Yeah, how do you view them in the years gone by, first year of the second tenure? What's your assessment of them? And going forward, what do you see going forward?
So, if you compare the first year of the second tenure of the MPP government, it is full of challenges. One, because of the outcome of last year's election and the current composition of our parliament. The executive and the legislature need to work together in a consensus-oriented manner to be able to get government bills, policies, intentions, projects, and programs passed from the House of Parliament so that it gains traction and implemented over time. You've seen that there are a lot of issues, starting with the dispute over the budget, disagreement over the budget, the e-levy, and other key government projects and programs that have gone to Parliament. It's kind of back and forth. And I think moving forward, a lot of consensus building has to take place so that members of the legislature can agree with members of the executive to be able to make sure that government intentions and policies that will be beneficial to the collective interests of Ghanaians see the light of the day and are implemented and get the support from all Ghanaians going forward. So I think that's my initial assessment.
Right. But then would you agree to any pundits' assessment of the government as dithering, that they appear to be dithering, not knowing whether they should go left or they should go right? Do you see anything of the sort?
There were symptoms of that assessment. And it has to do, like I mentioned earlier, the fact that governments in the Fourth Republic are always used to having majority in parliament and having their way with policies and intentions and programs. And this time, and because they usually have their way, it was very difficult for them to learn the habit of building consensus. Because if the minority are not happy, they just walk out and the majority will have their way. This time it's not like that. And government gets frustrated if their budget is rejected, because the budget is the blueprint of what they are coming to do. If you do not have a budget, you don't have business being in government. There have been issues with the budget. It has been approved. There are still issues with appropriation. And the major source of funding for most of the programs, the e-levy, is in complete contention. And you saw the back and forth that happened. If this happens to any other government, you definitely be on your knees. And the knee-jerk reactions that may follow, if care is not taken, can be detrimental to our democracy. So I think a lot has to be done behind the scenes in terms of consultation, in terms of discussions, in terms of dialogue, in a more respectful manner, so that at the end of the day, compromises can be made, so that all the House, both the majority and the minority side, can support government policies and programs that they think will benefit the entire Ghanaian population, so that they'll be very comfortable with the fact that our policies and programs will see the light of the day.
Dr. Alidu Seidu, further on the performance of the government, there's been instances political pundits would describe as two near misses. And the first of the two near misses was that on the 6th of January 2021, coming to the dawn of 2021, 7th January, the then President Nana Akufo-Addo's tenure would have elapsed, and we were awaiting the swearing in on the morning of the 7th of January at 10 a.m. Then on that night, on the eve of it, there was this, fracas at the Chamber of Parliament, where soldiers even had to come in. Eventually, we elected Right Honorable Alban Sumani Kingsford Babin as Speaker, and that is the a near miss, because we needed to be sure Nana Addo had been sworn in as the president again. And then also the budget issue you refer to this time around, not just fracas, but then there was fisticuff. So the two near misses. How do you propose we deal with it to avert any third near miss that may not be a near miss, but maybe something else?
So first of all, like I mentioned earlier, this current parliament we've never had it in the history of our fourth republic. We are always used to majority, minority. Now we do not have majority and we do not have minority, even though we have a majority working group. That's the first difference in composition. The second is the fact that you refer to the 9th of the 7th, the eventual election of Right Honorable Alban Sumana Bakbin as the Speaker of Parliament has never happened, where we have a Speaker of Parliament coming from the other divide of the political party continuum, other than the government in power. So it also calls for a lot of retrospection. What can we do moving forward? Like I mentioned, this calls for cool hearts to prevail. It calls for a lot of reasonableness. It calls for a lot of consultation and dialogue. Because if this is not happening, you saw what happened on the 6th night. Military being deployed into the chamber of the House of Parliament. It has never happened. When we see military in those sense, it evokes things of coup d'etat, where they take over parliament and suspend parliamentary businesses and govern by decree. This happened within the democratic tenure system. No one was hurt, no one was shot. We do not want this to happen again because we do not know how that outcome will be. We may not be so successfully the way we were on the 6th of January last year. So I think cool heads has to prevail. Dialogue has to occur in a very mutual, respectful manner. Concessions have to be made so that compromises can be built, and then we can move forward as a democracy. Other than that, we may not know what will happen next.
Yet Dr. Alidu Seidu of the University of Ghana and Etchetren and Komo Ekakra afa aban the performance na fe ye busa no nsem bi so a aba obeka ne say ama aban ne wura fi adwuma e wo so ye come on
Utie oha echi ponkno Needs FM.